did Breaking Free, and I did Begin Again Better, and many things changed in my life in the past 6 months. I lost weight, I lost 20 pounds, and I landed a better job, and I am now dating a guy recently I like very much. So I'm very happy, and I intend to keep these things during this year. But here's the trick. What I found is that I self-sabotage sometimes. The three things that I went back to eating emotional, that I get anxious about the relationship and I text when I probably shouldn't, that I am scared at work. So I am doing, why do I do these things? Because I am jeopardizing what I got. And how to deal with those moments when you know you're self sabotaging your dreams.
Yeah, that's a great question. So what Allie's experienced is that she's felt some growth in her life. And now that she's grown a little bit, she's experiencing these wonderful new things and she feels as though she's sabotaging them a little bit. Has anybody else experienced that? Just raise your hand. Yeah, it's totally normal, right? It's totally normal. So we have this homeostasis, and homeostasis is an equilibrium in our body. And so our body does this in our subconscious mind. When we get too hot, we sweat. When we get too cold, we shiver. We regulate our breathing, regulate our blood pressure, and same with our psychology. If we believe that we're getting too much, more than we're worth, then our homeostasis kicks in and we'll do something to knock ourselves down a little bit. Same with the bottom. If we feel as though we're not getting enough, more, like we're worth more than this, if you ever really get broke, like you lose a lot of money and you're like, "Ooh, okay," or you gain so much weight where you're like, enough is enough. And then you start to diet, then you start to go to work a little bit harder and you get back to homeostasis. So the secret to this is to raise your standard, right? And so part of raising the standard is continue to do this work, continue to do the hypnosis that we do and listen to the recordings, but also to start to fight back against the urges. When you recognize that you're getting anxious because you haven't heard from someone, they haven't texted you, right? Instead of actually sending 5 more texts to that person, you may just wait, right? And self-soothe. You may go for a run. You may call a friend. You may write a note to yourself saying, I'm going to remember this moment that I waited to text because I know that it doesn't feel good once I've sent that text, because then it's increased anxiety now waiting for them to respond to the text. And so realizing that when you do that, it has a future benefit of changing a program within your subconscious mind because you've pushed to get back against the resistance, right? Knowing that you're raising your homeostasis, your standard for what you'll accept. So is it easy? No. Is it a fight? Yes. Does it over time really dramatically work? Yes. The great thing is that you have awareness of it and now you can fight against it. And so when this old anxiety comes in, you start to say, what part of me is feeling anxious? Oh, that's the little girl within me that feels as though she's not good enough and that they're going to leave again. And maybe they don't. But either way, the adult in you will handle it. And you deserve love. And if they do leave again, then that just clears the road for the right one to come. So that's a great question. Thank you for asking. Glad you're here. Anyone else dealing with something they would like a little bit insight on or to share or just to voice? Just raise your hand. All right, Meredith, can you turn on your...
Do I need to turn on my video?
Yeah, I would love to see you if you're going to be speaking.
Okay, hi everybody. I saw this last minute in the morning, so I wasn't quite prepared. But so a couple of things. I think this is I'm transitioning out of a marriage, and my life is going to look very different. Fortunately, it's really amicable and we're very close. But the realization that most of my life has been my foundation of who I am in the world, my identity, what I'm about, has been either first with my parents or in whatever relationship I was in. And I'm now really discovering, okay, who is Meredith without anybody else? And I know that my purpose is to make a difference for people and contribute, and that by going inward, it makes a difference for all of us instead of, I think we all are, we don't go inward and heal ourselves, we just take it out on others, and that's what's happening in the world. So it's really this new discovery of what is life about, how to best contribute, and continuing the relationship with myself is the most important, and self-love. So I'm just taking on as many of courses and people and being in these empowering conversations as I can to do that, but also to give back and contribute.
Yeah, great. Thanks for sharing. I think that people probably relate, right? How many people have recently divorced or have been divorced or were in a toxic relationship and are healing their hearts? Yeah, yeah. That's like this crew, right? We've all had these heartbreaking relationships, and God bless. Thank God we had them. Because through that rupture, through that crack, right, we were able to say, hey, I'm not going to accept this anymore. I'm going to stand up for myself and I'm going to have better and I'm going to heal. I'm going to have better. Now, a lot of us, and what we do these groups about, because a lot of us now get stuck in this vicious cycle of pain, of, oh, I had this terrible relationship, I've broken from it, I'm healing from it, but I keep going either back into the pain of it or I can't go move beyond it. I become frightened or blocked in starting that new relationship. And is it because there are no quality men or women out in the world for you? Is it because you're broken and unlovable? Is it because you're too old? Is it because you're all those things? No, it's not. We may think it is, right? There are people that you can trust. And so as we start to call in, as we start to call in that energy, we can step into alignment with it. I have this one woman, I love, she wrote to me as she stepped into alignment, all of a sudden the loans that she owed were being forgiven. She was walking through the grocery store and she was getting she was noticing that men were looking at her. Like all of a sudden these things just started to come. And it's like, why is that? If we're all energy, right, and we're all vibration, that's been proven by quantum physics and just general science that we're all vibrating, right? We're all waves of vibration, and slower waves are matter, right? Our bodies, the computer you're looking at. Faster waves are light, etc. But we're all energy and vibration. So if we can get into alignment of the energy and vibration that we want, then things that used to be a fight come very easily. And we do this by changing our subconscious mind because that's how we actually see the world, our reticular activating system, which is our confirmation bias. So all of a sudden we're stepping into this energy of something that we want, and then we can open our focus through our confirmation bias to find proof that it exists. And then all of a sudden we have it, and people call it manifestation, and they think that the heavens opened up and it's magic, which it is a little bit of magic, right? We are these human beings that have this energy that in the world, but it's all completely possible. Now we have to release the old. We have to release the old programming so that we can actually have it. And that becomes harder said than done because how many people can actually reach into your unconscious mind, your subconscious mind, and start to change things? But it's possible. And that's what we do here.
I'm here.
Janet,
Yes.
okay.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm new. I know you're from Instagram, and I'd just like to say I'd like to come back as you in my next life.
Don't be so sure.
I don't know how I haven't lost my sense of humor, but I have not. I'm widowed. 11 years. I've had some wonderful relationships after 2 years after my husband passed away. I was very active before a year and a half ago, 2.5 years ago when I got COVID. I had to get out of a toxic relationship while I was not well. I'm a musician. I was a performing jazz musician, 2 bands, active, an artist. My life was full. I have 3 children, 2 grandchildren. And then with long COVID, surgeries after surgeries, not working, making me worse, in pain, I'm losing hope. And I have every reason to want to keep going because I have to. But it's getting harder because I'm fighting the unknown. If I knew I could get better, that would be great. I'm in a constant state of anxiety. I am in a constant state of anxiety, which is almost impossible to get out of.
Yeah.
Daughter's here this weekend. She has a certain scent, a certain smell. When I feel that, I can almost not feel my pain, but it's
Good.
always there.
Okay.
It's,
Yes.
um,
Okay. Jan, thank you for sharing that. It doesn't surprise me that people that the folks that are gravitate towards me are the things that I've dealt with in my life. So I've also had an undiagnosed chronic condition, and it's very scary, right? It brings up a lot of anxiety because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know
constant
if you're
state.
going to get
I mean,
sicker.
right now, constant
Yeah.
state.
Yeah. And then, but here's the thing, right? What if? So I know what it's like. I wrote a book about this. I need to be undiagnosed, to be in pain, to have that anxiety, to have that worry, right? But there are two things happening here. And there one is this idea that nothing is happening to us, right? That the world in our life either happens for us or through us. And so what could this possibly mean? It could mean that we are all spirits having a human experience. And at some point, we created a soul contract that we would come to Earth and experience these difficulties in the school of life. And from those difficulties, we would either help others or we'd help ourselves. And one of my teachers that I talk about often was Dr. Brian Weiss. He wrote a book, Many Lives, Many Masters. And he would put people into hypnosis and talk to their former selves. And so if this is true, then we're choosing these difficulties. And my chronic illness that was undiagnosed for so long that put me in a wheelchair that I still walk with a limp because of. And every day I would worry that what would happen if I was disabled? Who would love me? Who would love me? Right? And I realized that more people than you think. And then, God, even though I'm still in pain and that I've come so far, and that I have a beautiful life. And if this didn't happen to me, then I wouldn't be here with all of you. I wouldn't have the propensity to help people in the world. And it was a soul contract of mine to be able to get over this. So perhaps this is happening for you. That's what I'll just offer. And the second thing is, it's okay to feel a little hopeless sometimes because this is hard shit. This life is not easy. And as soon as we start to feel bad about feeling bad, is when we really double whammy ourselves, right? The next part is this. There's a smell and sound of your daughter that puts you into a relaxed, emotionally regulated state, right? And when you're relaxed and emotionally regulated, you don't, that's the mind-body connection. You're not as ill. I know that for a fact. And so through hypnosis, you'll notice through meditation, hypnosis, and guided visualizations, we can take that trigger of your daughter's sense of smell, and we won't do it today, but we can actually create a trigger for that relaxed state most of the day. When I first started hypnosis and doing this stuff, I think maybe my relationship was breaking up, or I went to this guy and he put a trigger in my mind for the color green. And I was like, I'm just hopeless and everything is difficult. And he's, what's your favorite color? And we went into hypnosis and it came out as color green. And he said, every time you see that color, you will feel so ecstatic, so joyful. And literally for a month later, I couldn't go anywhere without seeing the color green and not giggle. So we have this ability within ourselves already. We have more power than we know in our subconscious mind. We just have to change the program. And it don't have to try to become more hopeful. We just do. And I know that there's so much more waiting for you, that opportunity. At your age, there's so much life left. Imagine who could come into it. Just imagine what could come into it.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Jan, I'm glad you're here.
Me too.
Good. Life moves fast. We know this, even when we're staying in the same place. So I talk about the journal that I found that was 10 years old. And I had written my New Year's resolutions in it. And I found it 10 years later, and I was writing the same New Year's resolutions. I hadn't changed. I still wanted to do all the things. I still hadn't figured out how to get myself stronger, how to get myself to the gym, how to lose weight, how to have that beautiful relationship, how to make more money. I was just 10 years older. And that's when I said enough is enough. Really, enough is enough, because I had to ask myself, and I ask you, for how long will you think, hope, and wish for what you want? For how long? Forever? Until it actually changes. And you may say, I'm stuck. I don't know how to change, but you can. So this session is really for you if you don't want to settle for another year of this. If you've been struggling to overcome that toxic relationship, or you've overcome it and you're worried about having another one, you're still feeling that anxiety of it. You've been scrolling on Instagram during the holidays, seeing people have this wonderful life. First of all, don't do that on Instagram, because it's not true most of the time. But you start to think to yourself, like, why isn't this me? I want it. Or it's, I just want to make more money, or I just want to change my career. I want to be a coach. I want to help people, but I don't know how to get started. And it's, you find yourself saying, I feel stuck, or it's hard, or I can't. And I want you to know that it can be effortless, or more effortless. So I'm going to show you how to close the gap between what you want and where you are now. So oftentimes I say, right where you are now and right where you want, draw a little line in between, and that's the gap. So in some way or another, and I'm sorry if you've joined for the second time and you're seeing these slides for the second time, but this meeting was for those who couldn't make it. In one way or another, there's a purpose that led you here today. Even if you're not sure, Jan, it's there. And it's, our purpose is to live a beautiful life, to wake up happy, to go to bed easily. It's my dog's name is Odie, and I say it's the Odie effect. We want to live this life where we feel in flow, where we're excited to eat, we're excited to wake up in the morning so that we can do all the things that we love. A life where we feel connection and joy. A life where we wake up excited to be alive. This life wants us to be very specific about what we want, and what we do not want, right? You may know what you don't want, but can you be very clear and say what you do want with confidence to anyone? Can you announce it, pronounce it, proclaim it, right? Because how are you going to get to the goal if you don't know where it is? How do you get to the driving destination if you can't mark where you're going? You're just going for a joyride. And you know what happens in a joyride? You get into traffic and you get annoyed and frustrated because you have no idea where you're going. So this is the first step. So the second thing I say, are you focused more on what you want or what you don't want in life? Because it doesn't matter. You're going to get what you're focused on. And so some of you have heard the appendix story when I had appendicitis. I will tell that story perhaps. But what I knew in my illness and in my life, in my relationships, when I was focusing all the parts of the fears that were up here in my head, then I would get worse. When I'd focus on what if they don't text me, what if they don't love me, when I'd focus on what if I'm in a wheelchair forever, what if I get worse, what if I feel sick, what if I die, then it always flared up. And when I focused on the things of what I wanted, excitement, love, connection, joy, participation, purpose, then I opened up and I felt expansion in my chest, and things always got better. In fact, those of you who've heard it before, there was a time where I had appendicitis. I had these terrible pains in my stomach, and you're like, I'm going to wait until they go away. It got worse and worse. And I'm like, finally, all right. I don't really believe in insurance. I think it's a racket. They don't typically pay anyway, so I don't have insurance. I do now, but I didn't at the time. And so I waited and to go to the hospital. I've spent a lot of times in the hospital, so I don't really like to go. And especially not in New York City, around where I live, the emergency room is hectic. You wait for hours and hours and hours. So finally, the pain was enough. I was fearful enough that I went. And I'm laying in a gurney. They don't even have rooms for you. So you're just like out in the hallways of the ER. Everybody's very sick, ill, and unhappy. And I'm laying on this gurney, and it's about 7:30 at night. And I'm like, I know that I'm going to be here until 3 in the morning again, because I had this experience once before. And who's going to take care of my dog if I get admitted? And if I have to have surgery, what's going to happen? And then what if they don't get to me soon enough? And all these things that I'm so fearful of. And my phone's about to die even, and I can't text anybody, and I'm here alone again, and all these things, right? And I started to just think, I need to practice what I preach. I need to practice what I preach. And so I started to just think about what I wanted. I started to expand in my heart. And as I thought about what I wanted, I started to get excited for it. Okay, I'm going to be out of here in 2 hours, 2 hours max. I'm going to be out of here at 9:30. And the doctor's going to say, there's nothing wrong with you. And what does it feel like if nothing's wrong with me? It feels like excitement, expansion. It feels relief and joy. Okay, how does that feel? What can I think about that feels? What do I want to happen? I want the nurse to come over quickly. I want to get the scan that I need of my appendix done quickly. And so I say to the nurse, how long does this usually take? Or backed up, she says. Okay, so that could be a couple hours. Yes, expect to be here for quite a few hours. Okay, and so I'm laying on the gurney while people are moaning and having such trouble around me. And I'm saying, okay, how can I send good, loving energy to these people so I don't get down? And then I think about, no, this is going to be much quicker than that. They're going to come over and take me. And she says, guess what? It opened up. And the woman to wheel me into the scan takes me, wheels me in, and they do it. You breathe in, they take that. It's not an MRI, it's the other one. But regardless, so I say to her, how long does it take to get results back? Oh, a couple hours. There's only one person reading it, and you're here on a weekend, etc. I say, okay. So they wheel me back, and I sit down, long story short, and I think to myself, no, it's going to just come back so quickly, and it's going to be fine, and they're going to let me go. And so actually it does come back rather quickly, way less than an hour. It comes back in 30 minutes. And the woman comes over and the doctor comes over and says, guess what? We got your results back. I said, okay. And she says, you have appendicitis. And then I say, oh, shit. That's not what I was focused on. How did that happen? And so I just started focusing. I said, you know what? I don't care. I'm still going to walk out of here, nothing wrong. I'm just going to focus on that. And so the surgeon comes down and he says, we looked at your scans and you have appendicitis, and you can either get surgery now, or you know what? It doesn't really look like you need surgery immediately. And in fact, some of our protocols have updated that we can just give you antibiotics and it will probably go away on its own and you can leave. And if it comes back, just let us know. I said, oh, I thought we always needed surgery with appendicitis. Nope, not this time and not always anymore. And the nurse came over quickly, IV antibiotics, gave me a prescription to continue the antibiotics. I'm already feeling better because I know that I'm not going to have to stay up for 2 nights, surgery, etc. My dog is going to be fine. I'm going to be fine. The pain is already going away. And so I thank everybody. It's like the best case scenario. I can't even believe it. And I walk out the front door of the hospital. I check my phone. It's 9:32. 9:32. Now, I believe that I created that reality by focusing and feeling it. I believe I created that reality, and I believe that anybody can do that. I believe it's possible. There are so many different stories that I can tell around that. But first, it's about changing your inner self and understanding your inner self and how you create realities. First, we have the quantum energy that we can adjust to, right? So what if we create reality? What if we're living in dimensions and energies that we attune with at every moment, and that we're creating our own reality? And it starts with your subconscious mind and this inner self. And the subconscious mind really is our collections of beliefs and stories and habits and patterns of acting. And the inner self is a result of our beliefs and programming. For example, if you're a child and your parents were inconsistent or did not follow through on promises, your belief may be that people are not to be trusted. And your reality is you are untrusting and guarded, and that you'll probably look to confirm that by attracting people who will break your trust. The inner world creates our reality. It creates the story. It creates what really is happening as a result. Everything you're experiencing in your life is a story that you start to call your identity. We cast these spells with this I am statement. And this identity is built upon programs and beliefs that your subconscious mind looks for evidence to support the programs and beliefs of your identity. If you say, I am a lovable person, then most of the time you'll see that people love you. If you say, I am always cheated, even if you say, I am a smoker that's trying to quit, you never quit. If you start to say, I am a non-smoker, it grosses me out. You can't have a cigarette, or it's much harder. So this I am identity really starts to confirm through our confirmation bias. We look for evidence in every place to be able to confirm it. That's all of our programming. It's not conscious. We just do it. So it shapes the worlds that we see around us. We shape how we live life. And as someone who's gone massive change, I've found that learning to reprogram my inner self through the subconscious, it's more of an impact on my life than anything else. And same with all the people that I work with. Because then when you start to program your inner self and your subconscious, you change your I am, and you attune to a completely different energy that creates a completely different dimension, something called the observer effect. And when you actually start to put your focus on something else, it comes, right? You have the power and the ability to change. But what can make this painful is that we often do not control how this identity is programmed. Instead, we learn things over time, right? And you know what that means? That we have these limiting beliefs. And these limiting beliefs came from our programming, from our parents' limiting beliefs, the generational trauma, media, the teachers, all those advertisements saying that you're not good enough, you need their products. And your subconscious mind takes it all in. And we start to confirm these beliefs until we're just trapped in a cage and we feel like we can't escape. We feel hopeless, right? But that's not the truth. It may become your identity, but it's not the truth. It's not the truth. But right now, the story, you may revolve around things other than your dreams that you're trying to achieve. Meaning, when you think about stepping into a new life and seeking abundance, love, or a highest state of being, the subconscious is doing everything in its power to keep you into the same place, like with Ale, that when she is getting everything that she wants, and the subconscious mind's, oh, hey, wait a minute. Let's bring up some anxiety here. Let's bring up some sabotage here. Because it hits you with the same self-doubt and fear. It even causes you to self-sabotage and maintain the whole self, resulting in you spinning your wheels, feeling stuck, failure to launch and grow, going back to the way things were, another toxic relationship, another breakup, simply staying alone. And we never really receive the joy and love and abundance we're looking for. I've helped thousands to get out of this. I've gotten out of it myself. And hopefully today we give a little snapshot on how to do the same. And I'll even tell you about the new group that started, and if that calls you. So step 1, know what you want and boldly go after it, not what you think you should want. Not what you think you should want. Not what others want with you, not what your parents told you should want, not what your spouse or girlfriend or boyfriend thinks you should want, not what your kids think, not what you think society should want for you, what you want, what you feel called to. Right? And sometimes we think we should want a lot of money and fancy things, but really we just want to live on a farm with a couple animals and just enough money to buy food. But that's not right. I would love that. What you are not changing is what you are actually choosing, whether you realize this in your subconscious or not. So change the energy can change the result. And sometimes to change the energy, to change the result, you have to focus on doing the hard thing. Doing the hard thing. When I would sabotage myself around my health, I wouldn't go to physical therapy. I wouldn't exercise. My body was deteriorating. I had that condition on my spinal cord, and I had a real fear of never being able to walk. And if I couldn't walk, how would it be? All those things, right? But I wouldn't go to physical therapy. I wouldn't work out. And as a result, everything was stuck. That one hard thing I wasn't doing was leaving everything stuck, right? And why wasn't I doing it? I had this subconscious belief that I wasn't worth it. I wasn't worthy of it, that I had what I wanted. My homeostasis was like where it should be. I was beaten down. But then I decided enough is enough. I think it was Tony Robbins that I got the ability to work with him and his family. I've had the ability to learn from and to train with so many wonderful people through the businesses that I set up, because I was always an entrepreneur. And I would set up these giant businesses that I would hire these folks and then we'd become friends, or I'd get training from them. And he used some subconscious programming for me, and I started to swim. And when I started to swim, my body got stronger, less pain, and the world opened up for me. Everything changed because I started to change my homeostasis. I took that hard thing and I worked with the people, or I bought the courses that could help me, right? Instead of saying it was too expensive, or I didn't want to do it, or I didn't have the time, I would actually do it. Same thing with my niece. I told this story before, that she was stuck in New York City and she couldn't get a relationship to save her life. And she hated her job and she was always miserable. And she decided to quit her job, go back to school, and move to California. Huge expense, huge change. She worked through the fear, and now she's just got a job after she finished school. She just got this amazing job at a company that's going to make her so much money. And she has this lovely man that's very interested in her, and she's living in a beautiful place. And her world changed because she did that hard thing. She invested in herself. Getting clear and into alignment. And we tend to get very strong signals telling us we're living out of alignment. They come from loneliness or overthinking, hopelessness, stress, anxiety, frustration, all giving us a warning sign that something needs to change. So we can either change, take that step, join that course, join that group, find that person, or we can do what a lot of us do. We numb out scrolling, eat more food, more alcohol, we overwork, we go on dating apps to just scroll without ever going on a date. We settle and don't accept what needs to be changed. We just say, this is the way it is. I'm too old, I'm too broken, I'm too sick. Right? Judge them and let yourself for having to deny they exist altogether. And you certainly don't let them trick you into thinking that you can't change, right? Because once you acknowledge these signals, they start to reveal what truly needs to change. They begin to show you where you're lacking in life. They identify your programming. And if you're here today, they put you in the perfect position to achieve this transformation, which you'll see more on later in a second. So, when and how to become into alignment. When you do become into alignment, it's like magic, that you're no longer stuck. Miracles start to happen. New people appear. You find money. You find love. This woman I told you about earlier wrote me this note that, like, we started to get into alignment with her energy and her beliefs. And all of a sudden, everything opened up for her. She was calmer. She was getting along with her daughter better. Men were looking at her. People were waving money. She was making more. Right. And you start to say, oh, she just hit a winning streak. But sometimes you meet these people that like good things just happen. And that can be you. That can be all of us. So getting into alignment. Here's the first question that I would like you guys to write down and think about. What are you doing when you forget to check your phone? Right? Because these things and that feeling is alignment. When you're in a flow state where you forget to check your phone, because let's face it, that's our biggest addiction. It was created that way. The dopamine hits. So if you do something that overrides looking at a social media app, a dating app, or checking your text messages, emails, or even just the games and blinking lights, scrolling through pictures on your phone, if you can put your phone down and not think about it, that's your hint of where alignment is. What are you doing when you forget to check your phone? Next question to write down to getting into alignment. What would you do, and be really honest with yourself? What would you do if you were not afraid? What would you do if you were not afraid? Would you move? Would you quit your job, start a new career? Would you go to your favorite coffee shop and sit there all day and make eye contact with handsome men and say hello to them, or women? What would you do if you were not afraid? Because when you do it, things change. Imagine your ideal day now if you just close your eyes for a moment and start to imagine your ideal day. What do you see? Who are you with? Where are you living? What do you hear? Is there music playing? Is there peacefulness? Is there excitement? Is there hustle and bustle? What are you doing for work, for pleasure, for fun? Just your fantasy ideal day. Who are you with? How does it feel? Is it comforting? Is it peaceful? Is it exciting? Is it passionate? Is it fun and jolly? Where do you feel it in your body? Good. All these things start to put you into alignment. And you may even feel now that your nervous system is being settled a little bit. When you start to think of those things that you don't need to even remember your phone, or you start to think of the excitement of doing that thing that you would have if you weren't afraid, or you start to think of your ideal day and who you were with, and what would it be like. It starts to put you into alignment. It settles your nervous system and makes you realize that it's possible to have it. Yeah. What kind of relationships do you have in this perfect day? The first step to big change, if you close your eyes, you can open them, is uncovering the story that you've been telling yourself about why you can't have it or why it doesn't exist. We do that by looking at ourselves now and seeing what's missing. Through a lot of the situations that we've gone through, we've created these stories. Parents have told us, teachers have told us, and we can find clues to our programming by what we see as the results in our life today. So our results, if you're like, I'm stuck, I don't know what the programming is, I don't know what the issue is, I don't know what the past belief is, just look at your results and you'll know. Are you really good at something? Then you have a program that says, I can do this. Are you feeling as though you're lacking in an area? Then you have a block and a program that says that you're not good enough for it. And that's what we go about and change. So if you want to change the outcomes you're getting in life, from lack and stress to love and prosperity and abundance, then you need to change the inner self. That's what we've been talking about. The story that we can allow ourselves to connect to a different dimensional power altogether. And I've worked with so many people. Nothing is more powerful for this than subconscious reprogramming. Then it's important that we accept the past for what it was, though, right? Just a powerful lesson. And we start to thank every part of the past. Thank you so much. We blame it appropriately instead of saying, oh God, mom and dad, you really screwed me up. Oh God, toxic ex, look what you did to me. Now I can't love. Oh God, COVID. Oh God, all these things, we blame it appropriately. And we say, thank you, mom and dad, for being so difficult with me that I turned into such a strong woman or man. And thank you, toxic ex, for showing me exactly what I don't want in a relationship. Thank you, toxic ex, for showing me that I am worthy of more than that, and that I don't need someone like you, that I want something different. Thank you, illness, for allowing me the understanding of what true pain is so that I can help others. And once we accept our past, blame it appropriately for the amazing person it's made you, and that it's a powerful lesson that you can create a new identity. And with a new identity, you can start to achieve anything that you want. Even the magic of life, even the metaphysical, even the mystical, if you believe you're someone who can tap into that. So the next question I'd like you to write down. Who are you no longer going to be? Who are you no longer going to be? What actions will you take to leave that person behind? Because you can be different. You can have more. Who are you no longer going to be? And what are you willing to let go of to have what you want? What story will you let go of? What pain will you let go of? Right? What part of that are you willing to let go of and never use again as a building block for your own identity so that you can make room for what you want? To create a new identity starts with I am. That I am sentence is really powerful because people will fight to protect it. You know, I'm a baseball fan. I'm a football fan. I'm a meat and potatoes type of guy. I'm a kind woman. I am all those things, right? And so we say that I'm not good at this. I'm really good at this, right? All these things, this identity that we say I am, and we'll go tooth and nail, especially when it's I am in pain. We will fight and fight to make sure that someone understands that I am in pain means I am in pain, right? Some people come to me and say, I cannot release this toxic ex, and they were a narcissist, and every day I wake up talking about them, and I'm completely obsessed with it, and I was like, okay, and it's really hard for me to let it go. And I said, okay, we're going to let it go. No, but you don't understand. I am. And I said, no, but sometimes it can be easy. No, but it can't be. I'm in pain. I'm hard. And so you start to fight to protect your pain, to protect your I am. But here's the thing to consider. It was created. This wasn't just some thing. Imagine you came into this life as a child. You didn't have any I ams. You didn't know. You were just this happy baby that would either smile or cry when you needed something. And then your programs, all of your operating system was put in by all these experiences and all these patterns and all these things. And you became so sure that you were I am. Right? It's not true. Or it is true and it can be a different truth as well, right? So creating a new I am, finding out what you want, you choose an archetype. I don't care if it's Oprah. If it's possible for one person, it's possible for another. And you can start to write down the specific actions and act in accordance to the new I am. You can cast a new spell. I am loving and kind. I am powerful. I am the type of person that can overcome anything. I am a helper. I focus out. I am a coach. What do you want to be first? And you can announce the I am and start to create it. because our beliefs create our reality. And if you want to align with the future we want to create, you start to install the new software in your mind, and your external world starts to change to match it. It's almost as if you quantum leap. And you can manifest your dreams into reality. You decide that you no longer want to be. You identify the story you've created with the I am. You model the new I am. You create a big shift, and you start to teach and lead others to share from that identity to make it incredibly real for you. Incredibly real for you. So the last step is to take that action. Sometimes it's a course, sometimes it's a community, sometimes it's just going out there and teaching. Sometimes it's going and taking an action to do what you're completely afraid of so you can break free and you'll be able to create what you desire, right? Just remember, everything is out there for you to achieve your dream reality already. You are learning what needs to be done. Accept that you're in the perfect place at the perfect time and your opportunities are endless. There's something that I want you to try. Here's what I'll leave you with. If you were to go and search something online, or there's the shift workbook that I created that has the 369 method in it, but Nikola Tesla was a fascinating man. So you can start to research the 369 method. And it has a little bit of science, a little bit of metaphysics, a little bit of spirituality in there. And if there's one takeaway from today, go out there and try this method. I think that you'll love it. We're doing it in our next group too. So if you want to have something in your life, the Buddhists say, plant a karmic seed, meaning teach and give exactly what you have. Give and teach exactly what you want, and it will come to you. When in doubt, focus out, not from an empty cup, from a place from giving. And I ask you this question, are you still lacking? Does this seem overwhelming? Does this seem like you could use some support to do? It took me about 10 years and many teachers and thousands of dollars, but you don't necessarily have to take something that long, right? There are resources you can use. So my superpower is seeing you and using my gifts to help you grow. That's what I do. I can understand you and I can help you change and grow. And so our next live group starts in just a couple of days. And it's a longer one. It's a 60-day group. So we have a course that we go through. I only take 25 people so that I can personalize this all to you. And this new group is the best group I've ever created, I think, because it uses a lot more of the techniques that I've recently learned from my work with Tony Robbins and Joe Dispenza, but also my own special sauce. So we're going to have 8 virtual 90-minute group sessions every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we are going to meet every month after that. So we'll be together for a year, really intensely in the first 60 days and then over a year of that. And then if you can make it, we'll have a full one-day experience in New York City with a dinner. But there will also be a certificate with this so that you can feel comfortable if you want to go out and help someone else. Okay? Daily chats and activities, something like this for a year where we have all these live calls and events and meetups, etc., is usually about $10,000. But this for the next 48 hours is $2,995. $2,995. So DM me or send me an email at jim@jimcurtis1, or go on Instagram and DM me, or I'll send you an email and you can respond to it if you want to take advantage of this and join me. I really look forward to helping you. Some people have experienced some amazing things. What I experienced in that hypnosis session was truly profound. I felt a deep sense of calm. I've started to change in my life. I've come into alignment. I finally know what abundance really is. I want you to look back on this moment and say, this is when everything changed. I decided to do something for myself. And I spent 60 days intensely, and then a year afterwards, really getting into alignment with exactly what I want. I want to support you in doing that. Okay. Find a place where your head is supported. Great. So I'm going to ask you to take a deep breath from your stomach all the way to the top of your head. And when you do, I just want you to look up as if you're trying to look up into your brain. Okay. So take a really deep breath from your stomach all the way into the top of your head and looking up into your brain. Good. And now slowly release your breath. And as you do, let your eyes gently drift shut. Great. Now take another deep breath all the way up into your stomach, all the way to the top of your head, and look up into your brain and hold it. And now release your breath and let your eyes gently drift shut. Good. And one more time, taking a really deep breath in and opening your eyes and looking all the way up into your brain, and hold it. All the way up, looking all the way up into your brain, and hold it. And now release and let your eyes gently drift shut. Good. That's right. With your eyes closed, just allowing your breath naturally now. And as you do, you can simply just listen to my voice. And as you listen to my voice, you can give yourself just this time, this little bit of time, this few moments in time. And as you have this moment in time, you realize that it's not much time at all. Not much time for you to spend time focusing on yourself. And as you do, you can just allow your muscles to relax. In fact, I wonder if you can notice the heaviness of your shoulders against the seat you're in. And I wonder if you can rest now your attention on your legs and the heaviness of the chair you're in. And I wonder if you can rest now your attention on your head. And as you do, it's almost like a warm energy, a warm sunbeam comes in through the top of your head. And as it does, it releases and relaxes all the muscles in your forehead, releasing and relaxing all the muscles around your eyes, releasing and relaxing all the muscles in your eyelids, releasing so heavy, so comfortable, so relaxing all the muscles and nerves behind your eyes, allowing your eyelids just to get a little bit heavier, as if sandbags are pulling them down. In fact, you may even try to open your eyes and be surprised at the result. It doesn't really matter. It just allows you to go deeper. And the deeper you go, the more relaxed you get. And the more relaxed you get, the deeper you go. And your mind may wonder or wander, but you'll still listen to every word that I say. That's right. You're doing it exactly right. Sinking down now. And as you do, I wonder if you can rest now your attention on your feet. And if your right foot is heavier than your left foot, or if your left foot is the right foot that's heaviest, but it doesn't really matter. It just allows you to go deeper. And the deeper you go, the more relaxed you get. And the more relaxed you get, the deeper you go. If you can see, visualize, or imagine that you are standing on a beautiful vista. And as you stand on this beautiful vista overlooking nature, you can simply see it. See the blue sky or the trees, all those parts of nature that you can see. And as you look at it, you can start to notice the harmony of it. Perhaps there is a bird in the distance. Perhaps you can feel the warmth of the sun on your skin. Perhaps you can hear something in the brush beneath. Maybe you can hear the wind through the leaves. And as you do, you start to remind it and feel the peacefulness of this place. The peacefulness of it because it is peaceful, it is in harmony, there's an order to it. And your soul can resonate with it because you are not separate from it, you are one with it. You have the same energy as it, the same minerals as the rocks and sand, the same salt as the ocean, the same oxygen as the air. And just as the air cleans the trees and the trees clean the air, sun feeds the fruit and the fruit feeds the soil, you are in natural harmony, natural symphony of peacefulness, and everything is working out exactly how it should. And as you simply step down from this trail, this scenic vista, you can just simply walk down. And as you do step down, you can simply start to go a little bit deeper, taking one step and the next step follows, stepping down now, 10, 9, 8, even deeper, 7, 6, 5, 4, even deeper now, 3, 2, 1. Deep sleep. Good. For the purposes of hypnosis, each and every time I say deep sleep, you'll go quickly, calmly, and easily to this depth or even deeper. Open to suggestions for your own highest good. That's right. You're doing it exactly right. Now, I wonder if you can see, visualize, or imagine you're floating. Floating in the most comfortable place for you. And as you float there, so comfortable, so easily, you notice a light. And this beautiful white light shines right in through your eyes. And as it does shine in through your eyes, it just simply creates so much ease and love. As it flows in, this white light starts to filter through your arms and legs. It builds up so much through every part of you that it starts to flow right out your fingertips and toes. And as it does, you just feel so much joy, as if the sun is rising on a beautiful Sunday morning. You're with family, or there's a sunset and you're on the beach, or you can start to remember all those things that you're grateful for, those people, those pets, places. And as you do, you can start to feel the joy of life again, the beauty of life. Stack it upon itself with those things that you're grateful for: fresh air, sunshine, a cup of coffee, or laughter with a friend, holding hands with a lover, or all those things that you may be grateful for. And as this light shines through you, there is this feeling of peace, safety, protection, potential, loving kindness. And as it flows so powerfully through you, through your toes and fingers, I want to see the love come from your heart, that beautiful heart, thinking about all those things that you love, those places. And as you do, you can simply allow it, as if that energy explodes from your heart in white light. and the remembrance of that beautiful, peaceful love for all those gorgeous things that you're so grateful for. And as that white light goes from your fingertips and your toes and your heart, it spreads out to the people that you know, and you can see them smile. As children smile, they feel peaceful, safe, happy, and love themselves. And as that light comes from your toes and fingers and heart to those people, they light up. And as they light up, that light flows even more to your town. And as it hits those people, they feel safe and loved. And from your town, it hits your city and your state and your country. And as that light hits those people from your loving heart, they feel safe and warm, protected, happy. They light up. And as that light flows all over the earth, everyone starts to feel protected and safe, all from that beautiful light of yours, happiness, smiling. You are pure joy yourself. You are everything that you need to be, and you're doing it exactly right. You can feel the joy of it as if it's amplified in your system. And now, with this joyful part of you, feeling so beautiful, so wonderful, so safe and protected, I want you to just look down on the timeline of your life. And as you do, we just simply float down a little bit further. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Deep sleep. And as you look at the timeline of your life, I want you to notice that little girl or boy that was you. Perhaps in their bedroom playing, or in your childhood house, or somewhere. And as you float down to them, radiant with this beautiful, loving, protective light, just go to them. Go to them and see what they need from you now. See what they're feeling. See what they could use from you. See how you can help them. Help this little you, this little girl. There may have been a time where you were detached from her. There may have been a time where you didn't think you had the ability to give her what she needed, but you don't you. And as you shine that beautiful, loving light, she feels safe and protected, loved and at ease. You can see her smile. And you can see her realize that all those identities, those patterns that she built up, have changed. She is love. She is worthy. She is enough. And as she starts to change right in front of you, you can simply walk over, grab her, and hold her. And together you become exactly who you want to become. That powerful version of you. Together you are healed and powerful. You are love. You are magnetic. You are kindness. You are joy. You are beauty. You are protected. You are safe. Together, you are the best team and can have and create anything that you want in this world, in this life. You remember that You are more than enough. Things have changed for you now. When you open your eyes, things will be a little bit brighter, a little bit bolder, colors a little bit deeper. You are going to be more than okay. You're attracting the beauty, the potential of you, the most beautiful you. Taking this little girl and such joy and love within you together, you'll never be alone. And together you can achieve and have anything that you want. Locking this in now, and when you open your eyes, feeling the joy of life rush in, gratitude and gratefulness. Starting to recognize the room you're in, starting to feel your hands and feet again, and come back to this world 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, eyes wide open and awake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. Nice to see everybody. If you'd like to join this group, feel free to email me, DM me. Doors are closing very soon, and there are a few seats left, and I'd love to have 1 or 2 of you that feel as though you want to be a part of it. Okay, DM me or call me or email me, reach out to me. The last thing I'll say is this. I'm going to send you this replay. This is a year that we work together, and it's very intense in the first 60 days. You start to see change, right? Invest in you, right? Invest in you, whether it's with this group or something else, because this will be your year. The last thing I'll say is this. If anybody's reaching out to you on Instagram, make sure that you're safe, okay? Because it's not me. Right? There's a lot Instagram and TikTok are not necessarily safe places. Okay? So my email is jimcurtis1.com, and my Instagram is jimcurtis1, and my TikTok is jimcurtis8, and that's it. All right, everybody. If you connected with your inner child, give her a big hug because she deserves it, and she's so happy to reconnect with you. Some of you may have felt emotional because of that. And I'm willing to bet it's the emotionalness of being reconnected if you've lost a little bit of connection. It's like a homecoming. You're beautiful. I love you. Thank you for joining today. All right? Have a great weekend.